And in infinitives, now let's look at the infinitive when does the to plus verb structure take control. We have very clear scenarios for this well. Scenario number one is after verbs that look toward the future expresses intentions. These are verbs like want, hope, decide, plan, promise, manage, and agree. Then about this logically, if you decide or plan to do something, the actual action occurs after the decisions. It points at the future. That is why we say I decide to change my job. You don't know, say champion. You say to change. Another instance is I hope to see you soon. Scenario number two, to express a purpose or a why. In English, when you want to explain the reason why you're doing something to the purpose. You use the infinitive. Imagine you walk into World Series store because you need milk. You will say, I went to the store to buy milk. That to buy means for the purpose of buying. It is called the infinitive of purpose. Never say for boy or for buying. In the context, the infinitive is the indisputed king of purpose. And scenario number three, after adjectives, if you want to describe an activity using an adjective like easy, difficult, impossible, happy, or sad, the action that follows must be an infinitive. For instance, it is easy to understand the rule, or I am happy to help you. Let's demystify this. There are three main non-negotiable scenarios where you must use a gerund. Scenario number one, when the activity is the subject of your sentence. This means it is the main thing or concept you are discussing. In many languages, we use the infinitive for this, but in English, in the action starts and the sentence, it must be a gerund. For example, learning is gerund, and the text say learning English is important. We do not say to learn English is important. In everyday conversations, because it sounds overly poetic or archaic. Another example: smoking is bad for your hair, and the gerund is smoking because they have ing. And then scenario number two, after prepositions, please integrate the rules into your main. If you have prepositions like on, at, about, of, after, before, of, for, and you want to place an action right after, if the action obligatory goes in the gerund form. For example, she's good at cooking. The gerund is cooking. Or verbs that you for coming even with common idiomatic expressions like in looking forward, that two functions as an prepositions. So we say I'm looking forward to meeting you. And scenario number 3, after specific verbs. There are certain verbs that simple love, gerunds, and verbs such as enjoy, mind, avoid, consider, practice, and suggest. If you enjoy reading, the main verbs is enjoy, and the following actions must be gerund. I enjoy reading. If you avoid contractations, you say I avoid I read. Hi everyone, welcome. If are you watching this video, if it is very likely that at some point you were writing a sentence in English, stop it that in your tracks and ask it yourself, does this take in ing or does in take two? For instance, do you say and I enjoy to read or I enjoy reading? Why does one sound perfectly naturally while the other sounds a bit strange? Before we be deep into the rules, let's understand what these forms actually are. The first thing you need to know, and something that often confuses language learners, is it in this context, both gerunds and infinitives do not act as verbs in action. Instead, they functions as concepts or nouns. They are simple the name of activities. For example, on one hand, the gerund is the form of the verb that ends in ing, such as swimming, eating, or learning. Mean you this is now the present, the continuous tenses. Here, it's simple represents the act of doing something. On the other hand, the infinitive is the best form of the verb, preceded by the participle to, such as to swim, to eat, to learn, but mean essentially the same thing. They act swimming, eating, or learning, but English is highly meticulous with its syntactic structure. The decision of which one to use depends almost entirely on the boss of the sentence and the main verb of the word that comes immediately before it.